Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where we share with you the most amazing stories and experiences. Today's video is quite a unique one. It's an original story written by yours truly. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The old woman was tired. Not just tired, bone tired. The kind of tired that seeps into your bones and makes every part of your body scream for rest. She looked at the setting sun outside the window of her little cottage and sighed. All of 72 years of her life had been filled with nothing but pain. Pain of hunger, pain of losing loved ones, pain of loneliness. And now, there was only pain of weariness. Her late husband, God bless his soul, had left her a small inheritance when he died. Just enough to build this tiny cottage on the edge of the forest, far from the prying eyes of the villagers who had scorned her all her life. They called her a witch. They threw stones at her and her late husband, and they tormented the couple so badly that they decided to leave the village and build a life for themselves away from the forest. But even in death, people didn't let her be. Her hut was always filled with animals that had gone mad after eating poisonous plants from her garden. Villagers would sometimes come running to her, begging her to help cure their livestock, offering her money and gifts, anything to save their animals from horrible deaths. She never helped them. She hated the villagers. As she grew older, the hatred grew, turning into a deep-seated resentment for everything, including herself. Why was she born? What was her purpose in life? She had no answers for these questions. Her days passed in solitude until one day a young man knocked on her door. He was unlike any other man she had seen before. His clothes were tattered, his hair unkempt, and his eyes held a sadness that mirrored her own. He asked her for food, and she gave him some bread and milk, which he ate with a gratitude that touched her old heart. He spent the night in her cottage, and in the morning, instead of leaving, he told her, "I want to stay here and work for you. I'll do anything you want me to do." She laughed, a harsh, humorless sound. "What use do I have for a useless young man like you?" But the young man persisted, and slowly she began to relent. There was something about his eyes that reminded her of a younger time, a time when the world had not yet hardened her heart. She gave him odd jobs around the cottage, hoping to keep him busy and out of trouble. But one evening, when she went to check on him, she found him sitting by the window, deep in thought. Startled, she asked him what he was doing, and he turned to her, his eyes shining with an excitement she had not seen in years. "I'm thinking," he said simply, and she was taken aback. Thinking, why would you think when you could work? Was he mocking her? No, he wasn't. He explained, "I've been thinking about how we can make this place better, how we can make some money so you don't have to live like this anymore." He showed her a plan he had drawn up, and for the first time in years, the old woman felt a glimmer of hope. He worked tirelessly, fixing up the cottage, clearing the land around it, planting new crops, and soon their little piece of heaven became a thriving farm. She watched him work, and an overwhelming feeling of love and gratitude filled her heart. For the first time in 72 years, she felt alive. Then one day, he came to her while she was milking a goat and said, "I want to go into the forest and see what's over there. Would it be all right if I stayed out for a few days?" He had been gone for weeks at a time before, and she had never worried. But this time, something in his tone made her uneasy. "Don't stay long," she said, more sharply than she intended to. He nodded and went on his way, whistling a happy tune. She waited for him day after day, week after week, but he didn't return. She began to worry, then to panic. Had she lost him to the forest that had taken her husband all those years ago? One evening, as she sat by the now cold hearth, she heard a twig snap outside. Her heart leapt. Could it be? She rushed to the window and saw him standing there, his clothes torn and bloodied, his face pale and drawn. He looked at her, and in that one look she saw all the pain and sorrow the world had thrown at him. He was still smiling, though, and that broke her heart. As he stumbled toward the door, she ran to open it. "Why didn't you come back?" she cried, rushing to his side. "I was scared," he whispered, collapsing into her arms. "I'm sorry." And with that, he was gone. The old woman cradled his lifeless body, tears streaming down her face. She had loved this young man with all her heart, and now he was dead. Was her curse killing him too? As she wept, she heard a voice inside her, a voice that sounded like her own, but somehow different. It said, "You are not cursed, you are blessed. You have loved and been loved. What more could anyone ask for?" And in that moment, the old woman realized that her life, though filled with pain and sorrow, had also been filled with the love of her husband, with the love of the young man, and now with the love of herself. She had spent a lifetime pushing people away, but now she understood that the only way to break the cycle of pain was to reach out and grab onto love. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.